Today on DC News Now, the first public hearing is underway for the RFK Stadium deal that could bring back the Washington Commanders. We're live at the Wilson Building.
We need to make sure that our members are paid.
And some teachers in Montgomery County say they're not being paid on time. How the teachers union is fighting back. In another hot and humid day across the DMV, meteorologist Damon Matson is tracking the latest. And new details emerging this afternoon in New York. What led a Nevada man to open fire in a high-rise building. Plus, no more waiting hours for urgent care. How a new health app is making it easier for you to see a doctor.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on DC News Now at noon. I'm Shanika Grimshaw. And we're just days away from reaching a deal that could bring the Commanders back to D.C. We have DC News Now's Marielle Carbone. She is live at the Wilson Building with more. Marielle, there's lots of interest in this deal.
Yeah, Shanika, today is actually the first public hearing of two this week where more than 500 people have signed up to speak at this. This is expected to go on for hours and hours and hours, and that's because this issue is personal to a lot of people. They say that it affects their homes, their properties, their jobs, their futures, and again, that is why so many people are signed up to speak today. Now, this public hearing began at 10 a.m. That was the scheduled time. And prior to that, both sides of the issue, people were rallying outside of the Wilson Building, really speaking on the premise of this deal. In total, we know it's worth about $4 billion. The team paying $2.7 billion, and DC taxpayers about $1 billion. We're looking at the possibility of a 65,000-seat stadium with a roof, housing, retail, a sportsplex, and more, all planned for the RFK Stadium site. So those who support this, they say all of this will be transformative for the district and, of course, Ward 7. But others say there are not enough protections in this deal for homeowners, the environment, and labor workers. Take a listen.
So it's important for us to make sure that it's a legal labor agreement in place. Like, that's it. Because if there's not no legal agreement in place, then we're going to keep fighting.
I don't know if you can see the signs behind me that say, don't fumble the future, invest in RFK. That's what I have to say to them, because they don't see the bigger picture. This is jobs we're talking about. These are people's livelihoods. So again, this hearing, it was supposed to start at 10 a.m. It started about 40 minutes late. We heard from council members first, and then public speakers began. So we've only heard from maybe a dozen people out of that 500 that have signed up or submitted written testimony. So it's going to be a long one here at the Wilson Building. Council is expecting this to go on all day into the night, possibly even into the early morning hours tomorrow. And then after that, there is a second public hearing on Wednesday. That is for government witnesses. So people testifying from the mayor's office, the economic development office, and more. And Shanika, beyond that, Friday is when we're looking at the vote on the stadium deal. Council members saying Friday is a long way away, so a lot could change and happen between now and then, especially if council members do take some of this public input and use it to change some of the terms of the deal. So that's the latest from the Wilson Building. We'll keep you updated throughout the day, but for now, reporting live, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, Marielle, everyone is on edge, so can't wait to see what happens. Thank you. And police removing protesters from a D.C. Council meeting last night. You can see it there. This all happened right before the D.C. Council passed a nearly $22 billion budget that includes changes to Initiative 82. And the tipped wage will now increase every 2 years until it reaches 75% of the full minimum wage by 2034. The current tipped wage of $10 is frozen through the middle of next year. And council members are calling the amendment a compromise between workers and restaurants.
Customers are confused. Are these service charges? How much do you tip? Restaurant prices have gone up. The restaurants, many of the businesses are struggling because they have to adjust their business model.
And meantime, the Restaurant Association of Metropolitan Washington, they're calling the vote a win. In a statement, they tell us, quote, "We thank the D.C. Council for voting to restore the tipped credit, and we're acknowledging the need to bring greater balance to a policy that has contributed to record closures and job losses. The compromise reached provides operators with more clarity and a stronger foundation to plan for the future." All right, it is 12:05 now. Let's head over to meteorologist Damon Matson. Damon, it is another hot and humid day.
It is, Shanika. That dial is slowly being turned up on us across the DMV as this brutal heat and humidity just continue to build. And it's reaching a point now where we are seeing a few heat advisories across the DMV. The advisories for the time being are mainly back across the I-81 corridor, drifting into the Shenandoah Valley. So from Hagerstown all the way down to Woodstock and Luray here. Out to the west, you only need to reach 100 with that heat index for an advisory to be issued. Now, closer to the district, you need a heat index of 105, which we will be very close to later on this afternoon. But regardless of the exact numbers, it doesn't matter where you're at or if you have an advisory in place. It's going to continue to be brutally hot and humid. There's that current heat index as of this lunch hour, already feeling like 100 in Manassas and Frederick, 97 in the district. And like I just mentioned, these numbers are likely to reach the triple digits for everybody for at least a few hours before the afternoon is done. Because there you go, we're looking at fairly sunny skies. All of that heat will continue to build with air temps peaking in the middle to upper 90s. And really, there's not much relief in sight today. A few storms could bubble up all the way out across the mountains of western Maryland and West Virginia, but the rest of us continue to stay totally high and dry. Now, as we progress along through the middle of the week, will this pattern finally be changing, and does that mean we will experience some rain, some storms in order to cool things down? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. And speaking of high and dry, bad news for tourists hoping to visit the Washington Monument. It's partially closed for a second day in the row. That's because of the heat wave. Now, the National Park Service is also turning off the fountain at the World War II Memorial, and that's for maintenance work. But visitors to the nation's capital still enjoying the attractions along the mall yesterday while making sure to stay cool.
It's beautiful. You know, it's sunny, blue skies, puffy white clouds. Crowds aren't really bad at all, so there's plenty of space, you know, for us just to enjoy the sights.
And as of right now, the Washington Monument is expected to be open Wednesday. And there are several cooling centers in the DMV if you need to escape the heat. They are located in rec centers, libraries, and shelters. You can visit for a full list on our website. You can see the places, and you can visit our website at dcnewsnow.com. Just search Cooling Center. And a mass shooting in New York, killing an off-duty police officer and 3 other people. The suspected gunman now dead as well. Kirsten Cole from our sister station in New York has the details.
The killer's black BMW double parked on busy Park Avenue when he pulled up at 6:30 yesterday evening, being towed away this morning, already yielding clues, including prescription medication he was prescribed, a rifle case and ammunition, and a loaded revolver not used in Monday's Midtown mass shooting.
Surveillance video shows a male exit a double parked black BMW on Park Avenue between 51st and 52nd Streets. Carrying an M4 rifle in his right hand, he walks towards the building's entrance. That individual was seen exiting the BMW alone.
Law enforcement have also secured 27-year-old Shane Tamura's Las Vegas home. He left on Saturday for a 3-day cross-country journey, driving first to Colorado, on to stops in Nebraska and Iowa, arriving in Columbia, New Jersey around 4:30 on Monday before coming to Midtown.
The vehicle he exited is registered in Nevada to Mr. Tamura. The vehicle was searched by our bomb squad and found to be clear of any explosives.
Police confirming he had a concealed carry permit issued in 2022, good for 5 years. And while mental illness can bar a person from obtaining that permit, the NYPD commissioner saying he has a documented mental health history. The investigation into this mass shooting continuing on 2 coasts. He spent part of his youth in Los Angeles and was a student at Granada High School, there where he played football.
And investigators believe the shooter was targeting the NFL headquarters, but he took the wrong elevator. And developing now, a volunteer emergency medical technician in Montgomery County has been arrested for allegedly having inappropriate contact with several minors. 46-year-old Christopher Dudley. We're showing you his mugshot here, and that is because police believe there are additional victims. Fairfax County Police arrested Dudley last week after Child Protective Services received a report on a child being inappropriately touched by a man. Investigators also say 3 more victims reported inappropriate contact with Dudley, some incidents dating back to over 20 years ago. Dudley is facing multiple sexual battery charges. And staying in Montgomery County, an investigation continues on a firefighter who flooded a baseball field. You can see that here. This video actually went viral. As we first reported, it happened July 17th. That was when a baseball from a game hit a parked truck at the fire station, which is right next to the field. And in response, a firefighter used firefighting equipment to spray down the field. And Montgomery County Fire and Rescue says Internal Affairs and their administration, they're both investigating. They say it'll take some time and no one will face discipline until investigations are completed. And in Northern Virginia, a Front Royal man had to be flown by helicopter to a hospital after a motorcycle crash. Stafford County deputies say the driver was thrown from his bike when he hit a curb. The crash happened on Garrisonville and Furnace Road on Saturday night. Deputies say they believe speed was a factor in the crash. And developing now in Charles County, Maryland, 2 women were killed over the weekend in a head-on collision. Investigators believe the other driver involved was speeding and may have been drinking. DC News Now's Tim Reed has more information out of La Plata.
This is where the fatal crash happened Saturday. Police tell us the driver of the other car lost control, crossed over the center line, hitting the other vehicle.
It's tragic. I mean, that was somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, maybe somebody's aunt. You know, to lose a family member like that, that's serious.
Many people in La Plata are calling Saturday's deadly 2-car head-on crash heartbreaking.
It's a tragedy. 2 lives are lost. You know, two young females heading to a party with some friends, and shortly before they're there, and their lives are cut short just because of the negligence of another driver.
Police say Deani Tyree and Tiona Huggins died. Dominica Dotson survived. Officers arrested Corey Keynes and released him, but tell us more charges could come. They say he had been drinking and speeding before the crash.
So at this time, speed and alcohol are considered factors related to this crash. At the time, he was just driving. I'm not sure where he was heading or where he was coming from, but at the time, multiple witnesses stated he was driving, over the center line.
Police are asking if anyone witnessed the crime or has any information to call police. In La Plata, Maryland, Tim Reed, DC News Now.